Tens of thousands of American troops are preparing to transition out of the military and into civilian life. One group is making sure returning vets maximize their potential. Joining us with more, retired Army Colonel Garland Williams, Military Relations Vice President for the University of Phoenix. Good morning, Garland.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Great, thank you. Well, as a former colonel in the Army, you know how challenging the transition to civilian life can be. How difficult was it for you?
We know that the only thing that's common across every military member's career is that it's going to end at some point. And for me, I spent 28 great years in the Army, retired as a colonel, had a chance to earn my PhD, commanded, and I thought I was ready. But once I got to the point of transitioning, I was overwhelmed by too many choices. Not too long ago, the University of Phoenix conducted a survey, and we found out that only 34% of our active duty and veterans actually had a transition plan. So the other two-thirds were kind of like me, clueless exactly on what they want to do, and I think we can do a little bit better for those guys.
Now, what type of advice would you give to someone trying to start a successful post-military career?
Well, I think there are two things that a veteran needs to take a look at. He needs to take stock of his experience and also his education. You know, the military has provided a wealth of experience for these military veterans, especially small unit leadership, and those things can translate pretty well. But for education, you need to see if there's any gaps. For me, I had a PhD. I thought I had plenty, but then I started looking at jobs, and they all wanted a professional management certificate, which I didn't have. And so if I had started maybe 2 years out instead of the 1 year out that I started, I could have probably filled in that gap and been a lot more hireable. So I think in the survey, we found that 85% of active duty and veterans either currently are pursuing or want to pursue their education in the next 2 to 5 years. And that's an awesome statistic. We at the University of Phoenix, we recognize that, and we have military enrollment representatives that work solely with the military to help them figure out what their interests are, what career program they should pursue so they can really ultimately find that job that they want to do after the military.
And there are free resources as well. Can you tell us about that?
Certainly. In addition to what we have at phoenix.edu, you can also go to the Department of Labor's Transition Assistance Program. This is a 1 or 2 week program that exiting service members go through before they retire or before they exit the service. And I say it's 1 or 2 because the weeks are different based on the options you choose. But in that 2 weeks, you can learn how to write a resume, both a federal and a civilian type. You learn what your educational benefits are. You learn what your VA benefits are. You learn to do mock interviews so you can kind of civilianize your tone and your talk. And also, for people like me who wore a uniform for 28 years, you learn how to wear a suit properly so that you don't really stand out. Now, additionally, we've partnered with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hiring Our Heroes. Hiring Our Heroes holds over 200 events every year across the country, and they're veteran hiring events. And they have corporations and companies that come in that have open jobs right then so that they can do some interviews on the spot and get hired. And if you can find more information at hiringourheroes.org.
Now, if we know a family member or a friend who is in a similar situation getting out of the military life, how can we help?
Well, transition is difficult because a military member has been told where to go, how to go, when to go, and now they have endless possibilities. So the service member, they need their family to encourage them that it's a transition that's going to be hard, but they understand that. They also need to encourage them to start early. Again, 2 years out to figure out where your experience and your education lies so you can fill those gaps before you transition. Are
there some hot fields that people should look into right now if they're thinking about this?
You know, in the survey, it's interesting because we found out that service members are tending to transition into business, military contracting, criminal justice, information technology, healthcare, and also education. And these actually line up with the colleges we have at the university as well.
Well, Garland, thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the opportunity.
Our bravest Americans deserve outstanding opportunities, and the University of Phoenix is helping to assist transitioning soldiers. To find out more about their mission, visit the website or right there on your screen. Sean, over to you.
Dow, thank you so much.